The rain slammed against the shop's tin roof like 1,000 angry fists. Jessica Ruiz was elbow-deep in the undercarriage of a rusted-out pickup when the garage door clanged open. 2 paramedics burst in, frantic, soaked, and shouting. Their ambulance had broken down a few blocks away, and they were responding to a critical emergency. Cardiac arrest, male patient, no time to wait for backup. They begged for help. Jess didn't think twice. She grabbed her tools and sprinted out into the storm, heart pounding. The ambulance's engine was dead, flooded, a blown gasket, a cracked serpentine belt, and a failing starter. To any average mechanic, it would have been a lost cause. But Jess wasn't average. In less than 10 minutes, using spare parts and raw instinct, she had the engine humming just enough to get it moving. The paramedics thanked her breathlessly and peeled off into the night. Jess stood in the rain, soaked, grease-streaked, adrenaline still rushing through her. The next morning, her boss called her into the office. "You touched a government vehicle, Jess. That's a liability nightmare. You went against protocol." Jess's mouth fell open. "A man could have died, Larry. There was no time." "Not your problem," he said, expression hard. "Turn in your badge. You're done here." She left the garage in a daze, her mechanics, jacket slung over one shoulder, heart splintered. She had no savings, no backup plan. Fixing things, machines, engines, even old vacuum cleaners as a kid, that was all she'd ever known. She wasn't reckless, she was compassionate. But in the world she lived in, that wasn't always rewarded. For the next 2 weeks, she drifted. Every job interview ended the same. No openings, or, "We'll get back to you." Her story had already spread. People called her the liability. Some even said she was fired for endangering lives, twisting the truth. She spent her nights scanning Craigslist for freelance repair work, and her days repairing old lawnmowers for spare cash. One morning, as she was walking out of a hardware store with a bag of bolts and washers, her phone rang with an unknown number. She let it go to voicemail. 5 minutes later, another call, then a text. "Are you Jessica Ruiz? This is urgent. Please call us back. We need to talk about what you did with the ambulance." Her heart plummeted. She braced for legal trouble. With trembling hands, she called back. "Ms. Ruiz," said a calm, poised voice. "My name is Jordan Chan. I'm the executive assistant to Elias Vance. He'd like to meet you." Jess blinked. "Elias Vance? The CEO of Vance Medical Technologies?" "Yes. He insists. Your actions may have saved his life." Jess almost dropped the phone. She learned the full story that evening. Elias Vance, the billionaire tech CEO known for keeping a low profile, had suffered a sudden heart attack while visiting a clinic on the edge of town. The only available ambulance was the one Jess had repaired. Without it, there would have been a 20-minute delay for another vehicle, and the ER doctor later confirmed that those 20 minutes would have cost Elias his life. The next day, Jess arrived at Vance's estate, nervous and overwhelmed. The front gates opened like something out of a movie. A butler led her into a sunlit study where Elias sat in a wheelchair, recovering but very much alive. His face lit up the moment he saw her. "You," he said, "are the reason I'm still breathing." Jess tried to stammer out a humble response, but he raised a hand. "I don't know who fired you or why, but I know the kind of person who doesn't wait for permission to save a life. That's the kind of person I want on my team." Tears stung her eyes. She was offered a full-time position, not just as a mechanic, but as the lead for Vance Medical's new emergency response vehicle division, designing and optimizing ambulances for faster, more efficient service. Her insight, instinct, and ability to work under pressure were exactly what they needed. In a few months, Jess went from couch surfing and fixing lawnmowers to designing next-gen ambulances with a passionate team of engineers, medics, and drivers. The very same garage that had fired her now displayed her face on a billboard outside with the words, "Homegrown Hero, Jessica Ruiz, changing the world one engine at a time." But Jess didn't let success dull her spirit. She started a scholarship fund for women in trades, visited high schools to talk about the power of trusting your gut, and always reminded young girls, sometimes the rules weren't written for people like us. Sometimes you have to break one to save a life, because one act of courage, one wrench in hand, one heartbeat saved, that's all it took to change everything.